Hey guys, Daddy's gonna read you another story. It's been a little while. We're gonna do some more Curious George though. Got a big book here. We got some more stories in here. We'll come home and we'll read some more, and we'll read them for real. I think you'll like them. This one's called Curious George Feeds the Animals. Uh-oh. Alright, let's see what happens. I'll try to get a little closer. Here we go. This is George. He was a good little monkey and always very curious. One day George went to the zoo with his friend, the man with the yellow hat. A new rainforest exhibit was open and they wanted to go be the first ones inside. Going to the zoo. Alright, so but when they got there to the new exhibit, the doors were closed. It says grand opening postponed. I mean, they're not ready to start yet. We'll have to come back later, George, the man said. Why don't we just visit the other animals while we wait? So, first they stopped to watch the zookeeper feed the seals. When he tossed the little fish in the air, the seals jumped up to catch them, and they barked for more. Seals, they kind of bark. They sound like dogs sometimes. They barked for more fish. Looked like it was fun to feed the animals. Would you like something to eat too, George? Asked the man with the yellow hat. He bought a snack for them to share. When they stopped to see the crocodiles, George remembered how the zookeeper had fed fish to the seals. He was curious. Would the crocodiles like something to eat? Uh-oh. That might be kind of fun, huh? George thinks so. Might get kind of scary, though. George tossed him a treat, and the crocodile snapped it out of the air. Snap! Look at him. Crocodile in the water. Oh, boy. George, you're crazy. Next, they went and visited the koalas. George thought the koalas were cute. Here was a friendly one. She was curious, too. She wanted to see what George was eating, so he held out his hand to share. George then shared his treats with an elephant and a baby kangaroo. Oh, George is feeding all the animals, isn't he? Looks like he's feeding them peanuts. I don't know if that's good for all the animals. We'll see. George was making lots of new friends at the zoo. The lion was already eating, but the hippopotamus tried a snack. Next, he gave a treat to an ostrich. Oh, crazy George. There he is up there feeding the ostrich, too. And the zookeeper's like, what's going on here? Why is there all those peanuts inside? Why is a hippo eating peanuts? Crazy George. Then, George saw the giraffes. What fun would it be to feed a giraffe? Carter, do you remember feeding giraffes in Jacksonville? We got to feed them. Do you and Chloe? I think we both fed them at some point. Did we feed them peanuts? I don't think so. I think it was some leaves. I think the giraffes like leaves, not peanuts. So he saw the giraffes. Giraffes usually have their heads up high in the trees, but George could see these giraffes would be easy to feed. Oh, George. But as soon as he held out his hand... Lose you guys. There we go. As soon as he held out his hand, a zookeeper came running. The zookeeper looked angry. Oh, no. Was he angry with George? George didn't know, and he didn't want to stay to find out, so he slipped away. George went running. Running away from the giraffes. Oh no, he didn't run away. He ran inside. The giraffes were happy to help. Look, he jumped inside. And they're happy. The zookeeper's like, oh no, the monkey's with the giraffes. But where did George go? Oh, he disappeared. Do you see him? Oops, right there. You see him where he went? The zookeeper can't find him. Where'd he go? Where'd he go? Ooh, well, maybe he's back next to the sign. There's a sign that says, "This way to the monkeys." He's hiding in a sign with the pictures of the other monkeys. He was trying his best to hide, but little monkeys can't stay still for long. When George wiggled and moved, the zookeeper was waiting. "I see you," he said. Just then, another zookeeper hurried by. "Come quick," she yelled. "Someone saw the parrot." The first zookeeper led George to a bench. Now he's on the bench. The parrot from one of our exhibits escaped, and I must help find him," he explained. He told George to wait for him there. And before he left, he said, "Don't you know you're not supposed to feed the animals? The wrong food might make them sick." George sitting on the bench. There he is, still sitting there. George felt awful. He felt real bad. He didn't know he wasn't supposed to feed the animals. He didn't want to make them sick. George was looking at the treat in his hands. All of a sudden, swoop! A big bird swooped down and snatched it right up. Now George knew he wasn't supposed to feed the animals, but this one had helped himself. A zookeeper passing by was happy to see George. "You found the parrot," she said. "We've been looking for this bird all day." When she saw George's snack, she said, "This isn't the best thing to feed a parrot, but a little won't hurt. Would you like to help me put him back to where he belongs?" George was glad to help after all the trouble he had caused, and together they went back to the exhibit. Oh, look at them. They all got to go together. You got to go back to the exhibit, put the parrot back, huh? "There's our problem," the zookeeper said, pointing to a hole in the net. As the zookeeper discussed how to fix it, George had an idea. There he is. Was he going to climb up? He climbed up like a little monkey can, and when he reached the hole, he tied the netting back together. Meanwhile, the first zookeeper returned. "Catch that naughty monkey," he yelled. "He is feeding the animals." But another guy said, "But that little monkey found the parrot," another zookeeper told him. "And look, he fixed the netting. Now we can open the exhibit." When George came down, all the zookeepers cheered. Finally, the celebration began and the doors were opened. The man with the yellow hat was there, and he and George got to be the first ones inside. As George walked in, the zookeepers thanked him for his help. "Please visit any time," they said. George couldn't wait to come back and see his friends. But the next time he'd remember, unless you're a zookeeper, don't feed the animals. All right. Crazy George. All right, well, we'll have to do another one soon. Love you guys. Our next story is going to be Curious George goes to a movie. Look at that. Looks like he's got popcorn and all. That sounds like fun. It's like when you guys got to go see Cars 2 not too long ago. Daddy loves you. Bye-bye.